Good morning, or should I say good afternoon, because I'm getting a late start today after trying to get the video camera set up into position. Um, had a little fight doing that because I had to change from where the camera was coming down from, but I managed it. And later I will be attaching my monitor to the back of my storage dresser, I guess you would call it, um, so that because it's backed up against my table here, and that way I will be able to view the monitor easier and be able to keep track of whether it's recording or has stopped recording. I don't need another disaster like that. I'm not used to that kind of thing because my phone never has done that. So, anyway, to begin with, today, what you see in front of you is today's project. And I will bring this up. I'll try to keep it in focus, or in frame, I should say. And this is what we're going to be doing today. His face and his hands are going to be done in orange. And I'm going to put just a little bit of the mica into the glow powder. The Halloween is going to be done in that beautiful, vibrant white to blue. And I'm thinking that his sleeves and his eyes and his mouth are going to go ahead and be green, and possibly his jumper right here. Then I'm trying to figure out, should I just dust in some sort of brown mica into the axe handle, but it's going to be a little difficult task because it shows his hands are wrapped around, his fingers are wrapped around the axe handle. The axe I'm going to put as silver. I've been looking for my silver. I'll find it in a minute or two. But I wanted to get this video started. I will mix up a very small portion, but very strong portion of that white to blue for the word Halloween. And I'll get started in a moment. I'm going to put you on pause. Hopefully this won't shut the video off. Pausing. Now, I don't know if it... Nope, it didn't pause. My mouse seems to double click, so it took it back off pause immediately. So I'm going to try the pause one more time quickly. Ooh, that worked. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put you on pause and find my silver. Back in a moment. Alright, found my silver. And I'm going to use the metallic silver because it shows so well. I guess the way to begin is to begin. I do have my gloves ready. I have some napkins, but I'm going to grab a few more because, well, I don't want to have to grab in there if my hands are all gooey. I do have my remote next to me so that I can zoom in for you, and I think that's where I'm going to begin. If my head gets in the way, I'm really sorry because, I'm still waiting to get to that eye doctor appointment. And then I'll have to wait forever for the glasses to come in because we don't have one of those, lens factories here. So I have to wait for them to send it all off, and then for it to come back and then go get the fitting done. Although I'm going to request that they do the fitting ahead of time, because these glasses I'm wearing right now, when I first got them, I had a big issue with them, and I had to go back 2 or 3 times to the optometrist and told them they didn't work. They didn't work. I couldn't see. And what they did was they mangled them, my frames, and of course that did nothing for the lenses themselves. And then they told me, well, just wait 6 to 8 weeks because you have to get used to them. Well, by that time I had already had them for a year. Anyway, that's one of the reasons why it's been so long since I've been back to an optometrist, because I don't trust them any longer. I spent $800 on the frames I have right now, and they mangled them. And I'm serious, they really mangled them. Um, it's when the dog got a hold of them and bit and cracked the lens. He chewed part of the stems on them and bent one stem. Let's see if I can get that in focus. Bent the one stem like that. The other stems were bent by them, other parts, and so this is what I've been looking through, is very, well, very impossible to look through at times. And then with him biting the lens on the left side, well, that, of course, interferes with my vision. But soon, very soon, I will be at the optometrist, a different one, by the way, this time. Not one that has a tendency to want to destroy an $800 pair of frames. They were kind of special for me because I've got a problem with swelling, and of course my entire body swells sometimes, and so I had to have the lenses or the frames that can bend apart. And well, so yeah, I put a lot of expense out on them because they were lightweight, had the hinges that were spring, and felt perfect all the way up until they went, yeah, here, now look through them. Okay, gotcha. All right, enough of that. I've got my heat mat warming right now because I am going to portion out my resin. I don't know how much this whole thing takes. I really don't. But I'm going to do the portions that are important here, and then the rest might just all be black. I don't know for sure. I'm going to try to get a stem done in green as well. So let's see if we can begin here. I am going to put on my dust particle mask, my painter's mask, so that I don't have any problems breathing in any of the glitter or the dust or any of that. And these work really well for keeping those particles out. That's why it's a painter's mask, because these are used mostly by painters that use air sprayers, and it does keep the particles out of your face. So let's get this on real fast. The only problem is boy, my lenses fog up like crazy. Okay, I've wasted 8-9 minutes for blah blah blah. Let's get this done. Now I know I don't need a ton of everything, so I'm going to put those aside for right now. Get out my little pots. The only one I don't need to worry about is the silver for a pot, because it's going to be dusted on. And I will go ahead and turn it so that I can see into it, which is kind of hard because it's very deep in this section here. Look at this. I'll grab my brush for that. And this is just a makeup brush. It's flat. Oh boy. Now it's needing to be dusted out, so I just did that. Make sure that there's no floating particles out of that. We'll move these aside. And if at all possible, try very hard. My hands are very clean, so I do not have oils that will spread, but that's not going to fit in there and work that way. So let's try pushing a pipette down in there to try to keep it from traveling up the handle. And then what I'm going to do is grab a baby wipe and because the baby wipes are damp, putting it over the majority of your project will help immensely in trying to keep that powder from spreading. Let's lift this portion up for a second. Get that positioned just right. Get one more baby wipe. And of course you get to use the baby wipes for cleanups, since all it's doing is protecting against flying dust particles. Get the pipette back. Wrench it down in there. And that will leave me a lot less cleanup to do before I get the rest of it done. So I'm going to do that. Kind of hold that part down. Move that aside. And begin. As you can see, this powder floats everywhere. So we'll kind of do that. Normally I put a baby wipe down or a dampened paper towel right off the bat, right underneath the project, so that I can go ahead and do my dusting and not have to worry about it sticking very hard. To where I don't want it to stick. There might be a time or two I need to pause and step outside and cool down. For some reason I'm not seeming to stay cooler today. It's only 74 in the house, but it's like I don't know, it's like I've returned to my days of being in menopause. And oh my goodness, I hope not. Being in menopause was hilarious for me for the most part, and for everybody else around me, because they got to watch my really weird antics, which was as soon as the hot flash would hit, I would be out in my bathing suit on the front lawn in the middle of the snow. I was a snow angel maker, and I kind of weirded a lot of people out because I enjoyed being out there like that. But, you know, that is life, right? these people, for women that go through the change, or are going through the change. And I'm pretty sure this is just a leftover remnant of it. All right. The silver is dusted in. Yay! Yes, I keep glancing over at my monitor to make sure my camera is still running. Excuse me. Excuse me again. All right, now that we've done that, into the small cleanup we go. Now I have found that this silver does not like to be removed. I do like it for its effects because it is very shiny. But the cleanup is a bear. It really is. So I'm going to pause you for just a moment while I try to scrub all that off of there. Hold on. Okay, I don't know if you can see that right there really well or not, but that is that silver. It is not wanting to wipe up. I did scrub like the dickens on the metallic there, and it's, as you can see, still on the edges there. I'm going to try a lotion later on to do this, to try to clean it and see if that makes a difference, a lotion or an oil, and then of course followed up with hot soapy water to get the oils off, but we'll see. If it works, I'll let you know. Let's get you back in frame. Now this is my black that I make. It is a paste. I'm going to set it aside so it's not in the way at this point in time. And I'm going to set that down, grab some sticks. Now because these are long, they are obnoxiously long, and what I do is I kind of measure it on my thumb like this. Find out about where the middle is, that way. And then do that. Break them apart. And then what you want is some painter's tape. And of course I already put that away, but easy retrievable. Grab up my trusty dusty scissors. Cut a small piece off. And first of all, let's try to get that mica off my finger. Or not mica, silver powder. Okay. Make sure little pokey things are not there. And then sort of offset this just a little bit. And fold down first. Fold over. And then go around it. Just like that. That protects you from splinters. And believe me, I've had a few. So yes, you do want to do that. You don't need to make it very long, just about to there. And do every single one of them ahead of time, which is what I forgot to do, but also I wanted to show you how that's done. And of course you can set it to one side like this instead of towards the middle. It counts that you have a lot more portion above than you do below. And press that guy down and over you go. I'm working with offset fingernails right now because I had to do some cleanup today on the house, and I split this one down, this part right here, so I had to cut it so it wasn't goofing me up today. I see it is now after 3 o'clock my time here, so I am trying to rush a little bit to get this done. I need these two done here. I won't need the others done. So I'll get those done real fast. Pop those back out of the way, put those back in the bin over there. There's a cat hair. Got rid of that. Another small piece. You can just set that on the side of your mold if you want for a second, except it won't stick. And of course, almost everybody knows this. You fold a portion of your tape over like that so that you can grab it up easier the next time. Okay, let's get this one done. That one didn't get all the way. There we go. Got it. This one here is trying to break too. It's cracked all the way to there. As I said, I make plans all the time to have my fingernails grow long enough by the time Halloween hits, but eventually, just before I can use them for my costume, they break. So as in the last video, my thumbnail broke to here, down in the quick. So now this one has broken. That one broke. And so I'm going to be taking all the rest of them off soon, so that I can continue to work without worry about losing one while I'm working. Because when they go down in the quick, those suckers are painful, aren't they? Maybe I shouldn't say suckers, because I noticed some of my words sound like things they shouldn't, especially when I'm wearing my mask. So it's S-U-C-K-E-R-S, not that other word it might sound like. Okay, that one's okay. That one's trying to goof, so I'll burnish it down. Alright. Now, for what those purposes are, what I'm going to use are these little gadgets to get the micas out because my other spoons just don't fit. Okay, we're going to work with this one first. Now I'm putting the micas all as I want them to be on purpose right now before I mix my resin. And then I'll cover them. And leave them sit while I mix my resin. And no, I really shouldn't be doing this over on the mold. And the mold should actually be out of the way, but as I said, it's after 3 o'clock, and the longer this video goes, which reminds me, I will definitely be pausing you while I do all of this the rest of the way, so that I don't run into that issue that it was too long and wouldn't upload quick enough. So I'm going to go ahead and pause you now. Okay, I came back to let you know what I've done. I, of course, put all those heaping scoops in here. I put 4 heaping scoops of the glow-in-the-dark in this, 1 smaller scoop of the orange mica. There are 3 heaping scoops of the, oh my goodness, glow powder in this one. So I'm going to get these cleaned off real fast. And I'm going to go ahead and actually dust the orange in to his head and his hands. And then I'm going to use the green to dust in his eyes and mouth. And you want the orange down first because whatever touches first, this stays, unless you can scrub it out of there. His outfit, I'm going to go ahead, his jumper, that is, his, what do you call those things? Oh, good Lord. I'm sure y'all know what they are. We used to call them dungarees. Anyways, so yeah, I'm thinking that that needs to be dusted in. And of course, this needs to be filled in. I don't know if I need to dust it in or if I need to just pour it in. And I think I'm going to pour it in and then kind of scrape across, get it all filled in, and then remove the excess off the top. And I don't know if, maybe copper for the actual wood portion of the sign would be best in this area. And it is dropped here enough that I can pour some copper in here. So I'll have to let the Halloween rest. So I think I'm going to go ahead and get that done very quickly here with a little bit of resin. I'm not going to pour a ton for that job right there. And I can also pour some of that clear resin, because I know I'll have more left over, into the axe. So I think I'll do that. I'll put a stopper here in between so that the clear resin doesn't run into here, and then I'll let those 2 items cure. Alright, back soon. Alright, they say women are fickle. I'm going to prove that today. I'm going to put his dungarees in the glow blue, but I'm only going to dust it on. Since it's a powder and doesn't stick very well, I'm thinking I can get away with dusting it and not having to cover every other part. However, I shall actually cover his face area because I don't want any blue in that. And I know these powders don't show very well behind dark, so what I'm going to plan on doing here when I go to pour, it's just going to be the clear. So every other part will be done before I pour the back onto it. So let's get his face covered as well as possible. And go ahead and dust him. I'm hoping that will work. I'll do this part and then you'll see what I'm going to be, how I'm going to be handling all the parts I'm dusting. After that, I'll do everything on pause. Especially mixing the resin. That takes 5 minutes. And that's after it's warmed up, and I always put it on my heat mat, especially during the winter, to warm it up to make it move better. I'll grab another wet wipe real fast and remove the blue that went up over the side there. So much easier to remove that than the metallic powders. Now if you find it doesn't stick very well, there is a cure for that, actually. Let's see, he's got a difference here, so it's got to be like a pocket there. So I'm going to go ahead and cover the pocket too. But if you find your powders not sticking very well, which is a lot of the case with these powders, they don't stick very well. And then this pocket comes down here. And the rest of his dungarees are right here. So this is what you do. You just take a wet wipe, wipe it down real fast, and before it has a complete chance to dry, you go ahead and put your powder on. Alright, it's cleanup time to get it off the areas it's not supposed to be. And I've got it in areas it really shouldn't be. Alright, so as you can see, oops, maybe you can't. Oh yeah, he's still in frame. I'm going to close up on him. So I guess I was as close as I could get. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring him up. But can you see the blue powder that flew and it's stuck to the wet wipe? That's why I do that. Much less cleanup. But I do have to clean up through here and make sure there's nothing on these sides area because he's got a different color right there, or a different, that's part of the shirt he's got on. Oops. And of course always put these plugs back into your powders because those powders get, they can get right out from underneath these caps. Alright, I'm going to put you back on pause while I do the cleanup. couldn't find a copper, so I'm going to go with gold here and on the axe handle. And then I thought of another problem I could run into, and oh my gosh, thought just went out the door. Uh, do. Back as soon as I remember. Wow. Okay, I remembered. When I go to pour the straight white to blue, that's going to take over everything else, which is fine. But my issue is if I could not find copper, I have to go with this gold, so I'm going to. But if I were to burnish mica into the wood area right now, it would be forever to clean up these words. So I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit of this white blue, and I'm going to pop it down in there to keep the mica from sticking. So, back in a minute. Oh, by the way, I nearly forgot to do this. This is kind of a medium catch-up on my last project with the gnome, or the gonk, and it's because Lisa brought it up. Her name is Queen Maleficent, that I had forgotten the charm that I was going to put on the gonk. So I went ahead while this is still wet-ish, and I added the charm. So I'm allowing him to dry out right now for about 6 hours every day so that he can dry faster. Alright, anyway, back to this. Let's get this done. Alright, as always, you have to do the cleanup, but I've absolutely packed these full, so I'm just going to take a wet wipe just over the top to remove the top of that so that the gold will stick. Alright, back in a moment. As you can see, the H has a little bit of green in it, but that won't be there after I dump all of this out. Yes, I hate wasting that stuff, especially that white to blue. That white to blue is so special. So I'm going to do what I can to preserve it, but it's not going to work. I'm going to do a little bit more cleanup here because I see some of the other powder that has drifted where it shouldn't, and I didn't catch that. Alright, I keep wanting to wipe in here, but no. Alright, I'm going to get this dusted real fast with the gold, and I'll be right back. This is a very strange mica powder, and the reason why I call it strange is because all the work that I did to fill in these letters, it clumped on this brush like you wouldn't believe. So I did something stupid and I tipped it up, and of course the powder would fall out because it's powder, it's not mica, it doesn't burnish on very well. So I'm hoping that the letters come out still. I'm going to dump the rest of this mica now out of here. And it looks like maybe the letters made it. I hope. I did not want to use the metallics gold because you use that and you come up with some big problems. If it gets down in there, you'll never get it out. So it looks like it's going to work. I hope. There may be parts missing here and there, but for the glow effect, but we'll see. And I'm going to go ahead and get some in the handle real fast and be back in a minute. Okay, while I was doing the axe handle, I did feel that there was something more right here. So I went ahead and burnished the gold onto that. And it looks like it's wheat stalks behind him. So I'm going to go ahead and wipe the tops of that off, and then I'm going to be ready to pour. So back in a moment. Alright, I wanted to show you that you do not have to waste these expensive glow powders. If you don't use them all, pinch this together. Since they are powder, they don't float as well. Just dump it back in. And you can get almost every single bit of it, except for what, of course, sticks to the silicone. Alright, that's that with that one. Yes, never waste your powders if you don't have to. It's way too expensive these days. Alright, back in a minute. And of course, I did mix this orange. So I'm going to get a little container to put that in and not waste it either. Back in a second. This is just a quick thing to show you. I've already put A into its container, and I do mark them so that I know the difference. And I put B into its measuring cup. I'm doing it by pump, so it'll take a couple seconds here. I am happy about one thing with using my Windows 10 computer, is that the file sizes seem to be a lot smaller than what comes up on my phone doing this. So they don't take as long to upload and process, or to convert, or not convert, but to edit. Now, I have got 100 mil of A. I am going for 100 mil of B. And with A, because A is thicker and heavier, what you want to do is put that, just as you start getting it close to where you want it, allow it to rest for a couple of seconds, because the middle will actually pile up a little bit, and you need to, of course, let it level out all the way so that you know exactly where you're at on your measuring. And yes, it is a 1-to-1 by volume, not weight. Most epoxy resins are. And yes, I do know some people weigh theirs, but for me, you would have to sit there and go mil per mil to weigh it to figure out exactly where you're going to be at. Alright, I'm closing in on the 100 mil for the B. Now I'm going to let it rest for a second as well. I'm going to bring it to eye level so I can see where it's at. It is not quite there yet. So I'm going to add just a very smidge more. And I do mean a smidge. I know you couldn't see that. And I need a... okay. Another way to do this, let me set this aside for a second, to make sure you have the exact same volume, is you take your A and your B side by side. You get down to eye level with them. Sorry, I had to move my garbage can. And you give it the eyeball leveling treatment. And I do still need a drop or so of B. So I'm going to get that real quick. Okay, I put 2 drops in. And yes, 2 drops can mean the difference of everything. So they're both level now with each other at 100 ml each. And I won't waste your time, but I'm going to leave these sit here for 10 minutes as they are. I have my heat mat up high enough to warm through them. And then I will pour B into the cup first, because B is thinner than A. And when you pour A in, it will be thicker and it'll start dropping to the bottom, and that's when you begin stirring. But make sure you scrape out both of those cups into here. Also, the reason for putting it on the heat mat in separate containers is for it to not try to flash cure while you're trying to remove bubbles. So you want your bubbles to rise out of these two first. That minimizes bubbles when you stir even. So please remember that does work. And so when you have a lot of problems with bubbles, this is the way to do it. So I just put my my resin bottles away. I will wait 10 minutes and I will put you on pause while I wait. Before I forget, because I am using a paper cup to do this mixing, I did not do what I normally would do, and that is to go ahead and immediately put part B in here and just let it sit. If I were using one of my silicone cups, I would have done that first, or even if I were to use one of my plastic measuring cups, I would have done that first. But as it sits right now, I don't want the liquid to permeate the paper and destroy the paper before I can get to it. Alright, back in a moment or two. Alright, it's time to go ahead and put part B into the cup first and get it all scraped out. And I will be using a stick, well, not that small for sure. We'll be using this tongue depressor sized here to go ahead and scrape each one of these. Do not mix the two if possible. Use separate sticks. That way you're not mixing part B into part A's cup and making it more hard to clean out. You might also want to put your powder or your mica in first. Please don't do that. It will clump to the bottom. So let's get part B dumped in. I don't know if you can see, and I wish I had a side angle, but oops. As you can see, there's barely a bubble in there. So we get it poured in. Now this is going to be a 200 ml total. Scrape out as much as you can at first. And then make sure you know where you're placing your scrape off from your stick, which would be, I always turn the seam of the cup to my dominant hand, which is my right hand. You allow it to settle sideways in the cup while you do that, and then you scrape in that ridge that you can never seem to get anything out of, and you scoop it towards the bottom. And I know it's very difficult to see from this angle, and I'm going to figure out the video editor that I've been using a little bit more so that I can try to get 2 different camera angles and be able to interswitch them in the editing. So I'll be using my phone for part my computer for the other, because I do not have two computers and two webcams because, well, it's not necessary. It's great. And because it's warmer, it comes out easier. And do not add part A yet for easier cleanup. Set your stick, make sure it's fully scraped off. And I try to take it at an angle because some of these are bowed. So you want to get as much off as you can. Set your stick so that the wet end is where you've been scraping. Then grab out your wet wipes, one at a time, of course. These are not fan folded, and it kind of upsets me because fan folded ones are much easier to use. But always wipe the outside of your cup first. That way you're not transferring any of it to your glove when it hits the outside and top there. And then wipe downwards. Oops. Wipe downwards first so that you're clearing the upper part of the cup. And if you're not comfortable doing this while your resin is, or your hardener is sitting there, you can move your hardener cup so that you don't accidentally bump it. Alright, now you just fold this over so you don't waste anything. Go ahead one more time. Make sure you get that bottom all the way. And I just use 2 fingers like that and pinch it together and push real hard. And the reason why I pull out 2 wet wipes for every time, I'm going to go ahead and move that, and it is because I go ahead and clean off my fingers first, because boy have I transferred resin parts A and B and mixed to many items and had to do a horrible cleanup afterwards. But I'm going to take this alcohol spray and I'm going to put it over my garbage and I'm going to spray into it, and then I'm going to wipe it out with the wet wipe that's left there. I spray over my garbage so I'm not getting it everywhere, because it does bounce back out of the cup. And this way the alcohol and the wet wipe make your cups very clean, so that it's easier to reuse them the next time and without pieces sitting in it. Now, I've learned this over time because I used to have cups I had to throw away because the resin would harden, and because these cups come with the measurements on the inside, it leaves that ridge, and it's very difficult to clean that out. Alright, part B cup clean. Now we get over here. Now, if you want, and this is my style to do it, is, okay, I lost where the edge was, there it is, where the seam is. If you want, this is the time to go ahead and begin adding your powders or your mica into your B. Now that's just the leftover from when I was dusting the word Halloween, and so now I'm going to have to add more. I left the cap, the inner cap, off for this purpose, and I'm not going to use up all of this powder, but really close. Because the more saturation of the powder, the brighter it glows. Now, if there's anything, which I doubt, that's going to be left at all of my resin once it's mixed, and I do the pour. What I'm going to do is put any leftovers into, let's see, can you see it? No, not really, huh? Into Mr. Skull there. He's this medium-sized skull. I still haven't found the little one. I do need to tear my room apart to try to find that one because I do like the size of it. Alright, that's done. Go ahead, mix a little bit. Get that powder spread out into that bee. Right now I am not wearing my mask because I do not have the two resins mixed. As soon as I go to put A in, my mask goes on because the two chemicals together do off gas. They actually both do off gas, but it's not a horrible off gassing. Now you'll see that my powder began clumping because I wasn't stirring at the same time. And you really should do that, but I don't stir well with my left hand, and well, I more than likely would have done some bad stuff. And by the way, yes, this is Friday the 13th. Some people have horrible luck. Others have absolutely fantastic luck. And then still there are those that it doesn't affect at all. Me, when I was younger, I used to have the best luck on Friday the 13th. And with this being Friday the 13th in October, you know, the witching month. Okay, I think I've got that powder broke up in there pretty well. But, you know, bad things happen to good people all the time. And I don't try to press my luck because a few years ago it's like it shifted. And now I have some of the oddest luck on Friday the 13th. I've also heard that it's not quite broke up. There's still some clumps right there. So you just press those against the side of the cup. Now after this is mixed, it will sit for about 10 minutes more, just giving me plenty of time to go ahead and do the pour, and if there's anything left over, into the skull. So I'm going to set the skull aside real quick here, check to see if my powder's mixed in all the way. Alright, it looks like it finally made it incorporated all the way. I do hope I have enough in there for the glow that I want, especially when it goes into the skull, if it does. Now I'm going to turn this to where the drip I wiped off from the pump is at, and then dump. Do not begin stirring just yet. Scrape your stick real fast. Yes, I'm only using the one stick, and that's fine, because I'm going to clean this immediately while it sits. Just remember though, if you're on a heat mat like I am right here, your working time becomes less once these two are mixed, because that heat will help to start the cure. Scrape. Come back in. Get that bottom area. Scrape down the bottom itself. Turn your stick a little bit. Bring that up on there. I'll get this cleaned out real fast, especially since this one ended up with hardener in it as well. Get that down to the very, very minimums. Alright, time to clean really fast here, and then put my mask on and stir. I'll be out of camera for this part because I do have to go a lot quicker right now. Clean off my glove real fast. Grab the spritzer. Spritz it in. Zeus, out of the room. One day I'll have to show you my boys. Not my cats, mostly, because my cats are nerds and get into things they shouldn't. Like this morning, I had to go on a treasure hunt looking for my things I had on my art desk. And then the cleanup of the fur and all that stuff. Hazards of owning pets, but, you know, I wouldn't do without them. And they're not pets, they're family members. And they should be treated as family members. Better than family members in some families. Alright, almost done cleaning that. Now, of course, now that I'm done with the cleanup, what I'm going to do is try this out just to make sure it's proper. Okay. And get rid of that little piece there. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and get my mask on. And I'm going to stir this, but I'm going to put you on pause while I stir. Oops. Oh my goodness, I can't even get my mask on. It keeps slipping. There we go. Alright, I'm going to put you on pause real fast to get this stirred, and I'll be right back. Oh, I forgot. I was going to show you how I do the stir. So your stick goes in the middle first, and that's where you go, is straight up and down. Do not remove your stick if you can help it, because that helps to keep bubbles reduced. Notice I'm not going extremely fast, but fast enough to begin getting it mixed fully. I can feel my cup, and it is still quite cool. Then you scrape around, scrape the side off your stick there. This helps to remove any parts that's not mixed. Get your bottom. Now, because B is thinner, it will come off the bottom quicker and easier than part A. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and stir this until I know that it's mixed, and I will be right back. Do not actually follow the 5-minute rule. However, 5 minutes is long enough. Just make sure that you know that you're mixing in a way that is going to incorporate all of it. Alright, back in a minute or two. Alright, I decided to go ahead and add a little bit more of the glow powder, because in my opinion it's a little too thin, and I do want that extreme glow effect. I'm just hoping it doesn't screw up with the glow effect of the other glow powders. Or maybe I won't, because I can't seem to get it open again. A lot harder to do when your thumbnail is broken down into the quick and you're trying desperately not to break it off the rest of the way. Yeah, it's not going to come off, so it's just going to be how it is right now, because I don't want to put any holes in my glove trying to poke through there. Alright, so let's just go ahead and finish the stir. There's not much more to stir here. It is actually quite well blended, but I just want to make sure that the powder is off the bottom because it did sink a little. Now, I'm not worried about the words themselves or the letters because I had already dusted them with the mica, or the powder anyway. Okay, I'm going to really scrape that off of there for right now. Put it on my mat here. And what I'm going to do is take this little tool right here, and I'm going to work this down into those letters. So let me pinch my cup real fast. Pour some in. Whoa, boy. See, I don't want to make a huge mess by getting it to go all the way down the cup. So I'm going to wipe that real fast. That's where my most accidents happen. Alright, we've got that poured in. Now I just got to follow the letters. And make sure that it gets down in there as full as possible. There's a small little bubble that rose right there. And I don't normally use alcohol because I don't like the effects it does to the mold. But I have this area covered right now, and so as soon as I make sure that there's enough resin in here, I will go ahead and spritz it with some alcohol to remove whatever remaining bubbles there are. And you want the sharp tip silicone tool to do this because you have to slide in between some very thin areas so that you don't remove the mica from other areas. Alright, that's done. All areas have been poked. Get my tool wiped off. Normally I use baby wipes to clean these right away, but I've also found out that using a paper towel or a napkin like I do, that let's go right-handed this time, that it does pull off a lot more at the same time. Alright, here we go. We want to make sure all these deeper areas get it. Now, of course, I won't be using my tool at all to disturb any of the other things, and it looks like some of the green mica may be floating. Alright, he is completely filled now. Now we just go around the edges. If I don't have enough for this alone, what I will do later when this is cured, or hardened at least, I'm going to put a clear backing on it. Or maybe even possibly a black one. However, it looks like 200 ml is really close to being enough. So I'm going to scrape out the cup. Go ahead and get all of it out of here. Oh, it was enough. That's quite nice. I had no idea how much was going to be involved in this because I forgot to measure with water. But I tried guesstimating, and I guess my guesstimating worked. Alright, it's not domed, but that's fine too. You know, there's a tool that takes care of any rough edges, so I do have it, and I will be using it. So I'm going to scrape the rest of this off the stick, allow the stick to cure with it. Don't wipe it off. You go ahead and allow it to cure. That way the next time you use it, it won't introduce any bubbles. Alright, I'm going to move him to the center here. Sorry, Skull. Next time. Alright. Now all that's left, of course, to do is a small amount of cleanup. And we're 12 minutes over on an hour here now. So I'm going to pause this. And hopefully it won't cut off. Because I've got to put it on a 2-hour. And this is what these makeup brushes do. You're going to have to really put some really strong glue into them. It's not a makeup brush, well, silicone tool. So, yeah. Test them to see how they're steady or not. And if they're not steady, pull it off, put some glue in there. Get them stuck so they don't come off in your resin. Alright, everybody. I'm pausing. Hopefully. I just came back to let y'all know that I will have to dome the back of this. As I was going level with it, excuse the throat, it also shows me that there are some way too high areas in the wheat area that leave gaps where the resin's at. And even though this resin, as it is quite close to the top, it does not cover the areas around the head right there. These parts right here. So I definitely am going to be doming it. I don't know how long this video is going to end up taking to upload or anything. It is now 5:36 p.m. my time. It's going to take 2 hours for this to cure, enough to dome it, and then it's going to take time for the doming to cure. So this video may not be scheduled for 1:01 in the morning for Friday the 13th. Alright, everybody. You would think today was Friday the 13th, but I guess since I'm doing it for Friday the 13th, I'm going to have these problems. Alright, see you in a little bit. Oh yeah, it's not doming it because it's already poured. It'll be top coating it. Alright, love y'all soon. Alright, everybody, this is what I've got. I have 30 ml in A and 30 ml in B. Right now I am letting them warm to get those bubbles released in there. I just got through pouring them, And I wanted to show you, A will always have more bubbles than B. So I'm going to bring it up to the camera. I hope you can see that. And then the A, I can't see, but you can see the bubbles. So this is why we warm them separately, for easier mix and to release those bubbles. You don't want to add alcohol at this time because seriously, all alcohol still contains water. Isopropyl alcohol still contains water, even at the 99%. And of course, water and resin really doesn't mix. We all know that now. Okay, you beginners, I know, don't know that. Or you may have seen it in other videos, but that is the given. Alcohol is bad because it has water in it. It's distilled water, but it's water. Alright, I'll be back in a few minutes as soon as all those bubbles in A have dissipated. Alright, I've already transferred part B into the cup. Part A has got a few bubbles still on top, but this is my chance to hurry up and put the powder I'm going to be using into the part B and get it mixed up as fast as possible. And of course it's got the lid, the inner lid. This one seems to be a little bit easier to lift. It seems. Now I'm going to try to do this rubber baby buggy bumper. Rubber baby buggy bumper. Haha, got it. Type of thing where I am going to pour some of this, and I decided to use the purple. It's not black, and the reason I'm not wanting to use black is because I believe that the black, kind of like with a mirror, you have a dark background, and then you have a silvery over that with the glass turns it into a mirror. But have you ever noticed that you lose light in that mirror? So that is the reason why I'm not going to add black to this background for the top coat. I am going to add the purple, and I'm going to add the purple left-handed because, as I said, I'm right-handed. I'm going to stir it the way I need to stir it as I try doing the two-sided brain thing. At the same time, I am wanting it heavily coated though, so, and colored. So what I have here, of course, is the 30 and 30, which equals out to 2 ounces. Each 30 mil is as close to an ounce as possible. Alright, let's get this stirred in. Get all that incorporated. While that A still loses its bubbles, it's starting to finally. But the bottom of it is where the warmth is, and so the warmth has to rise through it. So let's get this purple powder stirred in all the way. This, of course, is a glow powder, so I don't know how all this is going to work together. I mean, everything in here except the silver and the gold are glow. Might look weird, might turn out good. I hope it turns out good. I am trying to make decorations to kind of sort of augment the ones that over the years have gotten destroyed or lost. So I am trying to replace a few things. Maybe not with the same type of item, but, you know, at least get some more decorations going. Alright. that is starting to be really well. See if you can see that color. I wish I could go a sideways view for you. Maybe I'll just go down the inside of the cup here just a little bit and see if you can see that. Alright, so that's what we've got there. Alright. Now remember, I'm going to be basically, with this top coating, doming this. So, like I said, I don't know if it's going to work or not. I'm hoping. But if you spray with alcohol, bubbles on top, you come up with small problems. Alright, I don't know if you can see those bubbles right there on the side, but they have diminished quite a bit in there. Don't want to tip it too far. So I'm going to go ahead and use this now. It is feeling nice and warm. It's not feeling room temperature anymore, which room temp right now is 75. So we're going to pour that in there real quick. Reorient where my seam is. Okay. Get in here and scrape this all the way out. It's really difficult with these cups because they've got these long ridges inside that prevent a full scrape. But what I do is I tend, and it's got the ridges for the measurements in there, so it's full of ridges. If you can find a good, excuse me, calibrated set of measuring tools, please use those. Find them. They're a little bit more expensive, but get yourself some if you're going to be as serious as most of us are with resin. I mean, everybody's really serious when they're just starting out even. But if you're going to want to continue resin and on a regular basis, please make sure you get calibrated cups. I go and scrape along the edges of those ridges and bring it down a little bit, scrape again, flat side against as I can to try to remove as much of both parts as I can. I don't want to have an off amount due to not being able to fully scrape. So yes, I scrape everywhere I can as quick as I can. And because I do not like these calibrated cups, they're not fully calibrated in the first place. They're just generally calibrated. True calibrated ones, yeah, they're expensive, okay? I mean, it's worth it though if you're going to be a serious lifelong resiner. And so what I'm going to do is, I've already tossed the B away. I'm tossing A away too. I have plenty more, so I can get frustrated with those later. I don't want to be frustrated sitting there trying to clean a cup that won't clean very well. And that's why I'm using paper cups right now, because I'm working as fast as I can through this 31 days. Sometimes my brain doesn't want to comprehend that I have, let's see, today's Friday the 13th, so I have 18 more days to go. My husband's shaking his head. No, it's not. Yes, the video goes out on Friday the 13th. This is my 13th video in the 31 days of Halloween series. So, in this video, it is Friday the 13th. And I've already had some really crappy luck like finding out that these two ridges are taller than they should be. So hence we're doing the back pour to try to compensate for that. And as I said, I am not doing more than just trying to get the top coat on here and cover what needs to be covered. And I'm telling you, I swear, if 2 ounces wasn't enough, it should be though. As long as it covers side to side and covers those high spots, I'm good. And I will coax it to the edges here. I just didn't want open hollows where there shouldn't be. And I chose purple anyways because it's not extremely dark. It won't diminish the glow of the things in front of it, and it glows itself too, so it might even help, or it might destroy the look of the glow, so who knows, especially since I put that beautiful white to blue in there. Alright, I'm going to toss this cup, and my nose decides to itch, of course, so I'm going to spread this. Now this is not fully cured yet, and that's why I'm in here doing this right now. I wanted to get this top coat on before so that they could adhere a little bit together. Come on, get in there. Just to that edge, please. Coax it to this edge. And you don't want to go over that lip. You just want to coax that edge. All right. I'm going to lean down here, see how everything is sitting. You know how hard it is to look sideways, everybody. I'm going to bring this back down a little bit here. And then what I'm going to do is go ahead, put this on a new 2-hour cure. Is there something wrong with that area? It's up on the edge, Brian. It just has a different look because of the shine of the light from that side. See? He's slightly interested in trying to keep me straight up here. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and toss this stick as well. I've got this one. It's cured. Maybe I shouldn't toss that one. Let's just put that one on the mat too. That way I don't have to worry about bubbles the next round. So I'm going to put this on another 2-hour. I'm going to go ahead and spritz the top of this. If I can find the opening of this thing. And just very lightly from high up. Let's see if I got it all, or if it all went off the side. I think it all went off the side. 1 second, one more spritz. Okay. So, all we're doing is waiting for this to cure. It is now 8 o'clock. Oh, 7:40. He's whispering to me. Anyway, it is now 7:40. So this is actually 2 hours since the last time I had stuck this on the 2 hours. So hopefully I can come back even sooner and be able to unmold. Let's go ahead and pop that like that. Let me look and make sure there's no floating hairs this time. That's what you saw the toothpick for, is because I had noticed a hair had settled in there before I could get this on. Okay. I'm getting this on here and I'm going to pause ya. Love you, see you soon. Stupid machine. Just a quick update, people. I don't think my heat mat was up warm enough. It has now been nearly the 2 hours and it's still not set properly enough even to touch it. It is still liquidy enough that my test area filled right back in. So this might be a definite, probably will be a definite late upload, but I will get it uploaded for the 13th for sure. Alright, back soon. Okay everyone, this one took forever to get to the point I can demold. And for me, it is almost 2 o'clock in the morning. So I'm going to put my gloves on because it is still a little weird on top. I had to turn my heat mat almost all the way up. And so yeah, I started the curing process many hours ago. So this video, of course, is going to be posted a little late today. Well, later than the 1:01 a.m. But it's going to be now, from now on, it's going to just be the time it's going to take. It's still a little warm, but the time it's going to take for the processing and upload and such of the video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and turn this over and I'll demold that way. Yes, it is still quite warm. Okay, let's try to get this done. It's going to be a little soft because it is warm. So I'm going to try to do this as gentle as possible. Well, maybe I'll turn it back over first and release the edges. I did get a little bit of resin going over the edge. I had to come in and scoop it back in. And so there might be a couple of edgy problems here. It seemed to be unlevel, even though everything here is level. So it's something to do with the mold. And I know that this is an awfully long video. So you'll probably see a notice at the very beginning of this, warning that this is a very long video, and please do not skip through it. Instead, go into your settings for the video and choose ×2, so it'll cut the time in half. But skipping on a video does not help a YouTube creator, so alright, I think we're getting to the point I can go ahead and place it down and get it finished out. I don't want to see it until after it's completely freed up. And then of course we will have to do the UV test on it to see if it glows. Which reminds me, before I do that, I'm going to go turn the overhead off so that I can just hit my remote for my main light over the desk. Whoops. Sorry, I have a dog in my way, so I kind of bounced off of a box. Sorry if my head just got in the way. One of my dogs thinks that my art room is his private sleeping area. Okay, we're getting there. Try to get his face freed up there. And some of these deeper set areas. It's definitely not too easy to demold because it's got some of those areas that are deep set. So, I think we're close to being able to do this. Alright, here we go. Alright, okay, that looks a little strange and purpley. Almost can't really tell what that is. So let me go ahead and move this stick. Get it off this resin off the mat. Or I'm going to hit the remote. Yeah, if I don't hide it on myself. Alright, light off. Alright, definitely has some of a glow, even though you can't see it on camera. It is trying to glow. Let's see if I pick it up and bring it closer to the camera, if that'll help. Not really, huh? Alright, I'll go get the UV lamp and we'll give it a try that way. One moment. Oops, picked up the wrong remote in the dark, that's funny. Well, that's not the power button. There we go. Oh, I have it upside down. Yeah, we can tell it's almost 2 o'clock in the morning. Alright, let me grab my UV light. Zeus, honey, can you leave? You can't be in this room when Mama's working. Or at least not in this area. He's such an old man. When he turns 13 in November, he'll be 98 years old in human life. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and pause this real quick while I go walk around and get this plugged in. I'll set it up here, get the base off of it. I will put it over this for a second. It'll turn on probably automatically. I don't like that with that machine, I don't. But I'm going to pause you and I'll be right back. Yep, it double clicked again. I hate this mouse. Okay, so it did start up automatically. It was 120 seconds. I don't know why it starts up like that, other than the fact it's meant to, I guess. Okay, I am seeing some bubbles in the teeth area and the nose area. And one in the eyeball, it looks kind of cool because it looks like a pupil. And there's another one in the other eyeball. Wow, he's got pupils. That's scary. Maybe I should drill in there and add some black and make it look really badass. Oh, excuse my mouth. Okay. Yeah, make it look really scary. Alright, I wonder how hot that is. Okay, it's not all that hot in there, so that's good. Alright, get ready for some eye shock. I'm going to turn off the overhead. Oh, that is so bright with that UV on there that you can't see the product. So I'm going to grab it and lift it, and it'll shut that off and see how the glow is. Oh, he's cool. But it fades pretty fast, doesn't it? See, I need long staying. But he's fading out of sight, and it still looks cool. So it would probably take a very long time to charge this up. So I'm going to put you on pause again and let it really charge, and I'll be right back. Alright, it's as charged as it can get for a couple of minutes here, so let's remove the light. I will bring this guy up. You really can't see it because he just dims out real fast. Okay, I guess that's the experiment with the glowies for now. I'm going to go ahead and stop it here because it's already almost an hour and 45 minutes. It's an hour and 42 minutes. This is the longest project I've had to deal with during this time, but wouldn't you figure, Friday the 13th. Alright, so thank you everybody for watching and putting up with this length of time on such a project that seems to have gone nowhere. But that's alright. It's a learning experience, and that's all we do. Learning experiences, right? Of course, yeah, thank you for watching. Hit the like button, the thumbs up. I'm going to get this light back on. If you liked the video and learned anything from it, like patience is a virtue for sure. I do like him. He is kind of cool. And he looks like he really is 3D and ready to come out. So, yeah. Hit the thumbs up if you liked it. Thank you for subscribing. If you've subscribed, I love you guys. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing and see if, I've got anything more in store. There are still, well, today's the 13th, so 18 days left of the 31 days of Halloween. And, leave a comment, please. That helps a lot. I love the interaction with my viewers. And, share if you want. Alright, awesome, guys. Have a wonderful Friday the 13th. Don't get too superstitious about it, everybody. Alright, love y'all. Peace out.